Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel again. My name is Nicole and you're welcome back to Nicole's Diary. So in today's video I'm going to be discussing some of the essential tips to keep in mind while traveling solo. So if this sounds like something interesting and something that you'd love to hear, definitely smash that subscribe button, share it, and stay tuned. Okay, so number one, the first thing that I will suggest and recommend you to do is to do your research. So definitely before you travel, obviously you'll be knowing where you're heading to, right? So depending on your location and where exactly you're heading to, it might be for school, it might be for work, whatever reason it is that you're traveling, you need to do your research. You need to get to know the place that you're going to, the area and the environment that you're going to, what kind of people live there, how are their characteristics, how do they associate with foreigners, you know, in their community. And at the same time also you need to get to know the cost of living in this area, right? This will help you to be able to know how much the rentals cost, the food and all these things. So this point is really important because you don't need to be taken by surprise when going to a new place. You need to know your research, and at least this will help you to give you a picture of what to expect by the time you go there. Yes. And let's go to number two. So number two, I'll definitely say that as a result of researching, this is going to greatly influence your budget. So number two is the budget, right? You need to have a clear plan and a budget for your destination, for your trip, depending on where you're going, how long it is that you're going to stay there. You need to have kept money aside, essentially specific for this purpose, right? You don't want to go to a place when you don't really have enough money, because that is not a place where it may probably be a place where you have your relatives and stuff, but supposing if you do not have anyone that you know in that place, maybe you don't have any friends or you don't have any relatives there, you definitely need to have enough money with you, right? I remember one of the times when I first traveled to India, I did not have enough money with me. And by the time I had like fixed money, like really fixed, and when I was at the airport, I was trying to exchange the money, and by the time I got to the forex, I noticed that some of my money was missing, and so I was cut short by a certain percentage, which made me stuck, right? Because I did not have enough money. So you definitely want to budget, and even when you budget, make sure that you still have extra with you in order to avoid such kind of situations, right? Because you can never tell what kind of situations you may come across during the journey. So just to eliminate all these, make sure that you have enough money with you. Yeah. Then number three is with the current situation, we all know we've been going through this whole pandemic crisis since last year till now. And yes, in some countries, of course, the travel restrictions have been lifted. In some countries, there's really no more lockdown. But at the end of the day, this point is still going to take me back to the first point of doing your research. So you need to know what the COVID restrictions of the destination that you're going to are. So this will help you to know which exact documents to prepare for your trip in order not to get caught off guard, right? One of my friends last year was leaving India, and one mistake that she made is by the time she got to the airport, she did not even carry any COVID certificate with her. So at the end of the day, obviously she could not board and they had to send her back. She bounced, right? And this was something that was so inconveniencing for her, because now she had to think about planning another flight. She had to book another flight, and which made her to get into so many expenses that she had not even planned and budgeted for right from the beginning, right? So you don't really want to, you know, have this kind of stress and disturbances during the journey. So make sure that you do your research and get to know the right documents to carry. Make sure you have your COVID-19 certificate. Some places obviously will require you to have your yellow fever card. So make sure that these important documents should always be essential for you in order to avoid any kind of disruptions along the way. Yes. And then number four, I would say that first of all, one other thing is that you'll need to work on your mindset. What do I mean by this? Okay, So what I mean by mindset is that depending on whatever place you're going to go to, yes, you're going to be, of course, very excited. It's really an exciting feeling going to a new place, a new environment, you know, getting to make new friends. Yes. And one advice that I would give is try your level best to come out of your comfort zone and, you know, try to meet people, try to immerse yourself with people. Yes, I understand sometimes it's not also easy for the locals in that area to open up to strangers, especially people that they don't know. They are more confined with the people that they're used to and the people that they know, right? But then that does not mean that they cannot also open up to foreigners and strangers that they don't know. So you should make it a habit to try and come out of your comfort zone by going to them. You're not going to expect them to come to you. Instead, you should be the one to go to them, and that is how, you know, friendship ends up forming itself, right? So this way it will help you so much more better. And then number 5, this one is also related to number 4. This is loneliness. You are going to have to expect that at some point in time, loneliness is going to jet in. Loneliness is going to check in, right? Because abroad, especially living abroad, like, everyone has got their own stuff to do. Everyone has got their own ish to do. Nobody's going to be there for you 24/7 in terms of probably sparing their time with you, whether they want to go to, whether you want to hang out with them, or you want to maybe go grocery shopping, maybe go to the cinemas, like whatever activity it is that you want to do, you will not always have people besides you, right? People also are busy, and especially living in the Western world, like, they are so time conscious. It's a very fast-paced environment compared to here. For example, abroad, when somebody tells you meet me at 8 p.m. or a.m., whatever time it is, you have to make sure that you're there by that time. You know, failure for you to get there by that time, you've already broken that friendship, and that will kind of affect your relationship with these people. So you have to make sure that even when you don't have anyone with you, you need to prepare your mindset in a sense that you have to come out of your comfort zone and learn to do things on your own. Especially if you're a type of person who, you know, always wants to lay back and do things with others, well, that is going to teach you now to also learn to be responsible and to learn to be independent. Yeah. Let's go to number 6. Number 6, what I will also say, this one relates to packing. So when you're preparing yourself to travel, obviously you're going to have to pack your stuff, right? Whatever it is, your clothes, your shoes, whatever essentials it is that you're carrying. I always advise that you keep your property in places where you can easily be able to reach them. For example, essential things like money, probably your charger, your laptop, these are things that have to be closer to you compared to things like maybe clothes or shoes, right? Those ones are usually in the bigger suitcase, right? And of course, those ones, like in case if you're going by plane, obviously those ones are going to be kept separate from you. You'll have to check in that luggage, and then you'll not see it until you reach your destination. But for these other essentials like your charger, your phone, your money, those are things that you need to have with you. Maybe you need to have like a backpack, or I don't know, a handbag if you're a lady, like whatever bag it is, but you need to have a bag that is easily accessible for you, so that by the time you land your destination, at least you can be able to easily reach some of these things that you need, right? You do not want to go digging in the main suitcase and then beginning to pull all the clothes out just to access your money or just to access your charger. Like, how inconveniencing is that, right? You don't want to go through all that crisis. So I advise that make sure you keep all your essentials in a nearby place where you're very sure you'll be able to access them much faster. And at the same time, also just take care of your property, take care of your stuff, even when you travel, because we meet lots of people, right? Lots of different kinds of people, and sometimes you cannot easily tell how you can end up losing something along the way, and you don't want to also to end up losing something that is important and then leaves you stuck. So keep that in mind. Then let's go to the 7th point. The 7th point that I will say is language. You need to learn the language. Depending on the location or where exactly you're going to, you need to try to learn the language, especially if their main language is not English. If you're from maybe an English speaking community, and let's say for example you're going to Portugal or you're going to Russia, you're going to have to learn a bit of Russian. You're going to have to learn a bit of Portuguese, right? Because you're not easily going to meet people who will speak English with you. Yes, majority of the people will definitely speak, of course, English. Like for example, when I traveled to Russia, yes, I was able to meet a few people who could speak in English, but guess what? Majority of the people I met could not even speak to me in English, both young and old. You know, they were speaking to me in Russian. Even when you could look at the signposts, maybe of the shops or whatever it is, the stores, they were all in Russian, and it was really, really hard for me. You know, even when I wanted to go grocery shopping, sometimes I did not even know what to tell the customer attendant, right? Because I couldn't speak the language. Like, it was really so frustrating in the beginning for me. And I remember I even reached a point when I started using my Google translator. So like, in case if I wanted to communicate something, I would type it and then it translates. Then by the time I get there, I just show them the font so that they read it and they understand what I'm trying to say. That's how I was, you know, trying to communicate and get along with them. But still, it wasn't easy, because you're not going to all the time expect to be showing your phone, you know, to people all the time like that, right? They're going to also need you to talk. So definitely it's good to also try to learn a bit of the basics. Yes, I know it's not easy, and I'm not trying to tell you to grasp the whole language at first go before you reach there, but try to learn some small basics that will help you to get along within the environment. And it will even be also beneficial for you, especially when it comes to even looking for jobs. You know, very many times they will deny you the jobs simply because you cannot speak the language, and it's going to limit your choices of getting jobs. Why? Because of the language. So definitely keep that in mind, and yeah, make your life much easier abroad. Yeah, okay, let's go to number 8. So number 8, I will say you need to be positive also when it comes to traveling. Be you, be yourself. Do not try to be somebody else. Be you. Do whatever it is that you want to do at any time that you want to do, right? Do not care whoever is watching you or whatever it is. Whatever makes you happy, go for it. Don't limit yourself. I had never skated before in my life. I had never jumped in -5 water, but I did all these activities just because I wanted to do them and I wanted to experience them. I had to let go of my fear of maybe saying, oh my God, people are going to look at me and maybe probably laugh at me because I cannot skate. Or, you understand? I just went out of my way and did it. I remained me and I didn't lose anything. So you definitely have to keep a positive mindset and just be you, because this is what is even going to help you to enjoy your journey much more better than you limiting yourself and remaining at the comfort of your zone, if you get what I mean. Let's go to number 9. Number 9, I will also say that you should let go of the fear of traveling alone. So yes, I know so many times, of course, we all have different categories of people, right? There are people who prefer to travel in a group. There are those who prefer to travel in alone. So depending on which category you fall between the two, I believe that it's very, very good to be flexible. For example, I have traveled together with someone, but at the same time I have traveled mainly alone. Actually, almost 80% of my travels have been alone, which is scary. I'm not going to say it's not, it is, but at the end of the day, that is the beauty about it, right? Because it makes you responsible, and at the same time also, you're not going to always expect people to be there with you all the time. No, people will have their own ish to do. That's similar to the point that I spoke about earlier, right? People are not going to always be near you. So are you always going to have to wait for others to be there in order for you to do something? No. When you feel like doing something, go for it. You do not have to wait for someone to be there for you to do something. If you want to travel, I don't know, whichever place it may be, go ahead and do it. And then this one will lead me to the 9th point. When you learn to travel on your own, trust you me, there is a way it's going to immerse your mindset. It's going to expose your mindset in a sense that Traveling alone or traveling solo makes you, first of all, become more responsible. You're going to have to become independent, and you're going to have to learn how to budget your money, your resources. Do you understand? Because you know that you do not have anyone you're depending on. You're relying on yourself alone. So definitely this is going to teach you on how to make decisions in whatever situations you find yourself, how you plan and budget your money, whichever places you go to, the time that you come back home, whatever it is. So this is a very, very good experience that I definitely would recommend everyone out there who has a chance to travel to go ahead and do it. Do not limit yourself, because I don't know, like the way I think nowadays and some of the experiences that I've gone through is not the way I was back then before I began traveling. So it has really exposed and, you know, just changed my mindset a lot, that I'm so grateful for. And then let's go to number 10. So number 10 also, I will say that you need to learn to be a flexible person. What do I mean by this? Flexible, it might be in terms of, for example, accommodation. So depending on the reason or whatever purpose it is that your trip is for, it may be school, it may be work, you're going to at some point be able to adjust, especially when it comes to accommodation, because depending on whichever place you're going to stay, whether you're going to stay in a hostel or you're going to rent an apartment, sometimes you may need to share with people. And you may not necessarily have to live alone, because there are some cities that are much more expensive, especially if you're going to live on your own, than, you know, other cities. So depending, if you have the money, of course, go for it. If you're able to afford living on your own, fine, no problem with that. But if you know you are a budget traveler, then you're going to at some point have to adjust and actually live with other people, right? The first time I traveled to India, I was staying in a house of over 14 people. Like, we were 14 in the house, and we were people of different, you know, countries. We had Egyptians, we had Russians, we had the Latinos inside there. Do you understand? It was a mixture of different cultures. And of course, with this, obviously, what do you expect? It's going to obviously come with a lot of drama. Yes, there are going to be good times and there are going to be bad times, but all these are experiences that are going to also teach you to learn how to live and associate with people of other different cultures, right? Because you're not always going to expect to be surrounded with people from your own origin or from your own country. At some point, you have to immerse yourself with other cultures, and that is what is going to help you be able to enjoy your life abroad. So you need to be very flexible. If you're living on your own, well and good. And if you're sharing with someone, then yes, you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible with them, with your space, you know. And yeah, just be flexible around the people that you're with, because you don't really know. Sometimes maybe even those particular people that you're staying with may come to help you at some point in time. You just can never know, and you can never tell, right? So definitely keep that in mind. You need to be flexible wherever you go and whatever you do. And then I'll go to my last point, number 11. I would also say this one also is still related to accommodation. So depending on the kind of accommodation that you're getting, especially like if you're going for a shorter trip, let's say if you're going to stay in a hostel or Airbnb, I cannot really recommend this for students, because obviously people who are like the students or people who are working, definitely they're going to stay for a much more longer time. So I don't know, they may probably get an apartment or probably get their own, you know, student hostels, which are also there like specifically for school going people. But this one is related to maybe just the backpack travelers, right? Because at one point in time I was also a backpack traveler. So you have to keep in mind also that you need to check the reviews of the different hostels or Airbnb or whatever accommodation that you're choosing to go stay in for the duration of time that you're going to be in that place, right? I was one person who never really used to pay attention to reviews, and as long as I saw the pictures of this particular hostel like looked really nice and, you know, it was okay for me, I would just go ahead and book. And so one time I was traveling to northern India, and then I booked, you know, a hostel in this particular, okay, I went to a particular hostel and I booked there, but oh my god, I was so disappointed because I slept there for 2 nights and I did not have electricity. Like, there was no electricity at all, and the whole place used to be so dark, and it was scary because the place was also surrounded with many trees. It was almost like a forest, like in the middle of the forest. Oh my god, it used to be so scary, and I was not comfortable in that place. Like, I didn't really feel safe there. So at the end of the day, I had to cut my stay there. I wanted to stay longer, but then I had to cut off my days and go book some other hostel somewhere, simply because of that inconvenience. So since then, I had to make sure that wherever I go, I always have to check the reviews. If I see more negative reviews than the positives, I'll not go for that. But if I see more positives than the negatives, then probably that's what I'm going to go for. So make sure that whatever places that you choose to stay at, look at the reviews. What are people saying about it? What have other people who have lived in that same place that you're going to experience before? That is going to help to influence your decision at the end of the day. So yeah guys, this is it for the video. Thank you so much. These are my tips out of my own experiences, and I'll definitely appreciate it if you guys can also share with me your tips or your own experiences during your travel journeys, or even if you haven't traveled before, but you can probably, I don't know, share a thing or two of maybe what you intend to do when you travel, you know, so that we can all be able to benefit and learn from each other. So definitely connect with me on Instagram, and yeah guys, I'll definitely catch you in the next video. Stay tuned, continue to do that good stuff, like the video, share it, subscribe, and I'll definitely catch you in the next one. Bye for now.